Hello, everybody. This is Tom Randolph from Goldencare. I want to welcome you all to this webinar today. It's our pleasure to jump on and talk about the GTL short-term care product. And this has really been a pleasure across the board. We're in our, believe it or not, already our last week for our initial short-term care initiative for integrity webinar series. Dennis and I have had the pleasure and honor of giving 30 live webinars. By the end of this week, we'll have 30 live ones in about 25 days. So we've had a lot of fun with it. Dennis, as you can tell, if you were on early, we're going back and forth. We've done so many of these now, it's like hard to keep track of which one we're moving to when, but we've had a ball with it. And speaking of that, I've had the pleasure of working with Dennis I'm in my 27th year here at Goldencare. And I've had the pleasure of working with Dennis throughout pretty much all those years, as most of you know, if you've been on these calls. And it's been fun. We're doing some product training today. We'll tell you about some new highlights for one of the GTL products as we go through here. But it's been fun doing the products, but we really like doing the sales side of it. So hopefully you've had a chance to jump on some of our sales webinars to teach you a little bit, especially for some of you Medicare agents on the phone, to teach you how to go in and present this really important product. And this is a slideshow today. I don't have my little intro slide, Dennis, that I always bore you with, but Dennis knows how important this is. This is one of those things, short-term care, extended care is one of those products that people really do need it and they really do use it. If 3 out of 5 individual bankruptcies are because of medical costs for things just like we're talking about today. And it's amazing how, across the broad spectrum of America, it doesn't take many thousands of dollars to cause somebody to get into really financial straits. So these short-term care products we're talking about today are so important because 70% of people over age 65 are going to use some type of care. They're going to need some type of extended care in their life. And these are the type of products that can do a perfect job of helping them out. So I won't get on my soapbox on it today, but I do know how important it is for folks like you on the phone. And I'm very passionate about it because I've been in long-term care forever and short-term care and extended care. These different products we'll talk about today are so important. And there's something that 90% of the people have never had a conversation about. So it's really important that we urge agents like you to go out, get out of your comfort zone just a little bit and go out and touch that. So Dennis, I'm going to turn it over and introduce you to Dennis Reiner. He's trained literally tens of thousands or 100,000 agents at this point, who knows? But he's really, really good at teaching agents how to go out and present these type of products. And it's been a pleasure to work with him throughout this initiative. So Dennis, I'll let you jump in.
Hey, thanks, Tom. And right back at you. Tom and I have worked on some big projects over the many years, some big national accounts that we've had the pleasure of training. And, prior to this world of Zoom that we live in, it was all face-to-face, and we were hitting the road. And in some cases, if you can believe this, we used to do 3-day training, exhaustive training, literally 9 to 5 on long-term care, all the ins and outs, not only the product side, but as Tom said, the conceptual side. So I'd like to think that you're in good hands today, that we know a little bit about this topic. And the good news is these products are much more streamlined. They're much more easier to present. They're much more consumer friendly, if you will. And so with integrity, we have 3, in essence, integrity sponsored products: the Manhattan Life, the Wellaby, which is formerly known as Medico, and the GTL. And I think we've done them fairly equal, Tom, as I recall, with the amount of webinars we've done on Omniflex as well as Wellaby. And I think this is our 3rd one that's just product specific on Recover Cash. Yeah,
I think so.
Okay, so here's the map, and Tom will probably jump back in on some of the comments here as well. But you can see this was as of 8:30, and of course, as things change and we add more states, we update this, and it's updated on the site that we have for all of you who are working with Integrity Partners. It's an agent site as well as a partner site, and I think there's 37 or so states with GTL Recover Cash. It kind of leads the pack because it's been around the longest. Omniflex has 31, but soon, this next weekend, Tom, I believe, is when, and we keep on, talking about this, but I believe if you put your cursor in that magic spot, there Indiana is going to come aboard. And of course, Wallaby was the last entry into the field for integrity, just in terms of the timing of when this product was actually developed and came to market. And they started with 10 states, and they usually add, as we've been told, they'll be adding in 5-state increments towards the end of the year. And then you can see also, again, where GTL and Omniflex are available, and Omniflex and Wallaby, and then all three. And Tom, I know you like to mention always when we're on these calls about the gray states, and
You bet.
and the fact that we like to have solutions for all 50 states.
Yeah, you bet. And we don't have in this presentation, we don't show our home healthcare sites, but the availability. But as you know, with this short-term care, extended care initiative that we're doing, one of the biggest abilities of all these plans, I say, is the availability, because we do need to make sure we have something to help people out. And as we get into our sales talks, we talk about how easy it is to start the conversation, and how we do have some type of protection for pretty much anybody you're going to be talking to in all 50 states. And these gray areas, and I'm right in the middle of them in Minnesota here, they always have a little bit of troubles with short-term care and home health care only plans. So if I show the home health care availability, which I'll show you later on our website, we have these maps available as well for your short-term care website that you have access to. But in a nutshell, there's a couple states, California, Florida, and Minnesota, and a lot of Northeast states out here that have always had a little bit of problem with short-term care, and they get nervous. And of course, anybody who's been up to their neck in it, like I have for as many years, and Dennis have, we know that it's kind of ridiculous. They think they're helping their consumers in their state, and reality is they're making it really difficult for those folks to have some protection, because as you know, if you're on this call and you've heard us before, long-term care has gotten pretty tough. Anybody with a lot of gray hair, it's really tough to get a policy in force. So while they're protecting their consumers for not being misled, what they're doing is limiting the opportunity for them to get some protection for themselves and their families. So that's a whole nother topic we could talk about for an hour and a half on the politics side of it, where we're really trying to get our lobbyists to go out and talk in Minnesota and Florida. We've made a little bit of headway, but again, like California is always going to be tough, and Mass, and some of those states, they're just not going to play ball. But the good news is on our home healthcare side is we'll get into, and I think we're going to probably highlight one of the home healthcare products today at the end. We'll talk about the fact that we have a really nice, it's a non-insurance product with True Freedom, and hopefully we'll be able to give a little plug for that, because it's such a nice product to have, because it's available in all 50 states, and it's a prepaid health plan that's for home care services, non-medical home care services. But I'll tell you what, just a lifesaver for some of those clients who just don't have anything else available or can't qualify health-wise. It's the widest underwriting net we have product, and it's the most available in all the states. So again, I'm not doing that to pitch any reason for True Freedom besides the facts. It's a great product to have in your portfolio. So I think it's nice to have for everybody, especially in those gray states there. So we'll jump on from there, and we'll talk later about that, I think, as well, Dennis. When we get into that, remind me. We'll
Right.
go to the website.
Yeah, Tom. And with respect to Recover Cash, this is a great, great product. GTL is a company that we've had a long history of working with. I think they're an 86 or 87-year-old company. This is a product that we had an opportunity to help GTL refresh it. And so part of that refreshing was to just make some enhancements that including, strangely enough, making sure that there was easy for agents to do business with an e-app. But yeah, been around since 1936. It's a mutual company, privately owned, zero debt. Look at that. And a lot of people like to refer to AM Best ratings as A-. I like to refer to it as A-, and that's just a little play on the fact that the dash implies more of a, and GTL originally, I think, Tom, if you recall, when we started working with them many, many years ago, they were B, then they were B+, then B++, and it's difficult when you get carriers that are in the ancillary space that aren't necessarily life and health companies as their primary function, where AM Best tends to be a little bit harder on those ratings, but still very, very strong. And so it's a solid carrier, and They are always innovating. They're very nimble. One of the things that we love best about GTL is that they're able to bring to market changes very quickly, where some carriers it's very difficult. You want to make changes, and they have to get a committee together, and it takes just forever. And so GTL is known for their ability to make enhancements and make changes and to do it very, very quickly. So we appreciate that. And a great company with great collateral, by the way. One of the things I think you'll come to appreciate with GTL is just how strong a lot of the information that they have that's available. You'll be learning about a few new things today, and this is one of the visuals that you have available. We'll be introducing a new service that, again, that GTL has been bringing to market. But some great stats on caregiving and recognizing that these insurance solutions are wonderful. And we know that in many cases, the amount of informal care today still dominates. And so there's some additional tools that we'll be talking about. And then from an e-application standpoint, Tom, as you know, one of the great things about GTL is they make it very easy to do business. If you're still old school and you love to touch paper and your clients like for you to come in face to face and have a paper application, you can still do that. You can actually email or fax in that app as well. But boy, GTL has been the real leader in terms of in the tech side of this business with both voice verification call, and now what's really dominating most of the applications today is this text to sign, which is making sure that the client can just text to basically complete the signature to enable that app to move forward. So very, very, again, very innovative, and also a company that we do an awful lot of business with and have a very strong relationship with.
Yeah, and Dennis, the state availability we already talked about, but one of the things that we really appreciate with GTL, like Dennis was saying, is all the different tools they have. And just to let you know, Dennis, I think I do have those videos available with an overview of the Recover Cash and with T-Care and stuff that we'll get into. But just I wanted you to know I could jump on into those at any time if you wanted to. But
perfect.
One of the things with this product, Recover Cash, this is part of our three products that we highlight. Like Dennis said, we have the Wellbe product, we have the GTL. GTL has been around the longest, and it's just a standard in the industry. So it's really strong and nice to have as an option. And it's available, again, like Dennis said, in more states. And then we have the Manhattan Life product out there, it has its own strengths and weaknesses, as you know, by going into our training on the different product lines. So today we're going to talk about this Recover Cash, and I'll tell you what, just as a bird's eye view, again, these are indemnity benefits. All these products are indemnity. So remember, regardless of what your actual cost is in the house at the time or in the facility, whatever your daily benefit is, it'll pay that full amount. So that comes in handy a lot of times at home. If you have a nice, robust policy, for example, and then you just have a couple hours of home care or something, you're going to have the ability to have that extra bang for your buck there because it's indemnity, and they don't worry about the other types of insurance you have as far as other medical insurance, et cetera. Okay. So nursing home and assisted livings are, of course, covered here. Remember, people buy these policies to stay out of the nursing home. That's why we a lot of times talk about we don't sell nursing home insurance, right? Even with the long-term care folks know that. We sell products that keep you out of the nursing home as long as possible, hopefully. And we do want to have that coverage there if people need it for the catastrophic claims. So, of course, it's an important part of these comprehensive short-term care plans. Same token, we talk about short-term care, and I may as well give my little speech now, Dennis. We talk about the fact we use extended care a lot with our clients. When we get into sales, we'll talk about that on those webinars. Remember, these can be really robust policies. So a lot of people think short-term care covers 90 days or 30 days or something when you get out of a hospital. Remember, short-term care and Recover Cash isn't just for recovering from minor surgeries or recovering from things that might be on the lower end of the scale. We can be very flexible and design tiny little policies that do a bang-up job in the short term, But on the flip side, we can make these really strong plans. And we talk a lot about that when we get into sales, to remind you as an agent, some of these policies we can design $1 million plans with, so we can do some really big time things. So remember the flexibility of these plans, and GTL is no exception there. They do have a nice 10% spousal discount. So that's nice to have. Some of the carriers don't have that. They have premium rates that you buy, and they're set at the age of application, or the effective date, I should say, and those remain level. And there's not really problems with big rate increases with short-term care policies because they're designed benefit plans. And then we obviously have the really important home health care rider with the caregiver benefits we'll talk more about. That's an important part of this. And one of the things GTL does different is has that simpler compound inflation available. The other ones have, some of the plans, I should say, have simple inflation, but this one has that compound inflation, which is nice for somebody who really wants to have a plan that's going to grow a little bit faster in the long tail with these products. And again, of course, they have 0-day elimination available, which is a really important part of these plans. And then we have restoration, which again, I can't stress enough, is a really important part of these policies as well, having the restoration available. So we'll talk more about the $3,500 family caregivers, which is a great way to get over that one objection where people say, well, my family's going to take care of me. This plan now with the new enhancement has this $3,500 one-time lump sum payment for family caregivers. So it's really a nice thing. We'll talk more about that as well. These T-Care, the family caregiver support services, can't speak enough about that, and we'll get deeper into that as we go as well. But it's a really, really nice, unique, strong part of this GTL plan. Sorry, Dennis, I probably went into all the details of the plan before we got into it.
Tom, I think we could probably wrap up the project right now. No, it's the way that GTL lays it out. This is their deck, so we try to make sure when we're training on these products and we're using the carrier deck that we navigate through it. But we do want to come back and emphasize this, and so the flexibility is, as Tom said, is great. The full indemnity. And I want to come back to something Tom said. We like to use extended care, but you might have a vocabulary that you use. Just be careful that you're not saying short-term care, even though technically you need to make sure that that's the legal name of the product. But I'm saying make sure that you explain what that means, and whether you use extended care or that you want to talk about longevity planning or home and recovery care, whatever it might be. We like extended care, but the best thing is that these products, unlike long-term care, or like long-term care, you still need to be unable to perform 2 out of 6 ADLs or suffer from a cognitive impairment. But unlike long-term care, you don't have that 90-day certification that the doctors know this. And so these benefits are pretty robust. It's a great low issue age from age 40 all the way up to age 84. Remember, these are unisex rates. And once the elimination has been met one time, then you've satisfied it. And the bed reservation is also a feature there, but 50 to 300, again, covering custodial, intermediate, and skilled care. I'm talking now really just on the facility side of the policy, which is the base part of the plan, with an elimination period of either 0-day or 20-day. Again, not as confusing and as messy as what we've been used to with long-term care, where you've got more elimination periods and typically you can have a much wider spectrum as far as the amount that you can buy up to. But as Tom spoke before, even though there may be some limitations, you're still buying a very robust plan. And remember, it's all cash. And so the benefit options are still very good. And there's some situations where, quite frankly, what Tom was saying about these short little plans, 30 days, 45 or 90 days, there is such sales situations where maybe that will be something you'll recommend. But I would say the vast majority of all sales is the 360-day benefit period. And then back to the inflation, as Tom said, that's the only short-term care plan on the market that actually has 5% compound. All the other plans do a really nice job of making sure that your benefit can grow over time. And again, a lot of the sales that we see with the upper age market, inflation isn't a factor because they're actually selling just more upfront, the highest daily benefit available by whichever carrier. And but just know that that the difference between the two is compound doubles in just a little under 15 years and simple doubles in approximately 20 years if you're using the great rule of 72. So
Right. And we do want to add in there with Recover Cash with GTL, this inflation is just on the facility rider.
yes.
So we want, or facility base, excuse me, not the home health care. So I want to make sure you as an agent know that. And you'll see that on the app, etc. So
Yeah, great rates, Tom. You want to tackle this in terms of
sure.
because this is just really not showing the entire benefit period options, but just trying to give you a snapshot about the affordability.
Right. This is showing the low end, of course, and basically what this is showing is just a $50 facility with a 90 benefit period and a 0-day wait, and then a home health care for 6 months and for a full year at $1,200. So stronger, obviously, home health care benefit here. And we know, again, that's a lot of the reasons a lot of the folks you meet up with are going to buy this plan. So you can see here for a 60-year-old, 65, 70, and 75, a lot of your guys' wheelhouse will probably be right here if you're in the Medicare market. So again, all we're trying to show with this slider, what GTL is trying to show from their deck is that if you look at the 65-year-olds, you're way under $100 a month, and you're getting pretty solid coverage, especially on the home care side, right? The facility side, they're kind of slapping down, showing that we're just going to do a minimal amount for these sample rates. But this shows the low end where you can have a nice little plan. And remember, Dennis and I have done this for a long time. It's amazing that a lot of folks don't understand having a limited amount of home care can keep you out of facility for an extended period of time a lot of times. So it doesn't take as much as people think to say, boy, if we just had a few days of home care, we could get somebody and be able to stay out of that nursing home for an extra year or that assisted living. So it is really valuable to have some type of home care, and that's what these plans would do for your clients, and they thank you at claim time.
And Tom, it's back on the 90-day, just like the 360. Remember, that's usage. So what Tom's saying is that in some cases, if the frequency of the home care visit is only 2 days a week, home care is intermittent by nature, and people don't get care typically every day, because the day that they start getting care every day means they're probably progressing, and they're probably going to need more supervision, and that progression of care is going to lead them to a facility. But the great thing is, what Tom just covered and what we've just talked about the base plan is you can buy just the facility, but the home care with GTL becomes a rider, and you can see here, and Tom, there's one other carrier in the marketplace that also has weekly. Several of the other carriers that we have pay actually a daily benefit on the home care, right? So that's a little bit of a different wrinkle, and GTL did a really nice job with this upgrade of moving that home care benefit up to $1,400.
You bet.
Again, for minimum of 50.
And they did. They back in the day, for those of you might have seen this, and I know a lot of you are brand new to extended care and short-term care. But before that was really kind of a weakness to Recover Cash plan, and they definitely listened to their agents, and they listened to agencies like Goldencare, or kind of up to our neck in this industry. And one of their things they had before was like a $75 per visit, and they had a kind of limited home care side. And we talked about the fact that was hurting their sales. So they listened, and they went in and did, instead of a bigger daily benefit, they went with a weekly, and it means 3 covered services in a week of at least 1 hour. Then you can end up having your home health care weekly benefits. So again, like Dennis said, most of the time it happens, but you don't always have 7 days a week, especially at the beginning of claims. A lot of times it is, hey, I only need somebody here 3 to 4 times a week. And that's a great way to go out and get the full weekly benefit. Again, indemnity benefits, so you get the full amount that you purchased for that week, as long as you had 3 covered care days. So again, elimination period, I may as well just roll here, Dennis. 0 or 20 days. We sell a lot of 0 days on the home care. Sometimes we do 20 days on the facility or more, in certain cases, but almost always, I think it's safe to say we're pushing the 0 day for the home care, because it's really nice for people with short-term care to have immediate coverage and not have to worry about out of pocket. Okay. And again, they did their weeks here, just broke it down to really simplify the plan. You can have a half a year, 26 weeks, or 52 weeks. Again, the weeks count if you use the care for at least 3 times, and you get the benefits for that week. So it's not calendar day. Oops, I can't scroll down. And then the family caregiver part with the $3,500 in T-Care. And I think we'll show a video of that later too, instead of getting into that deeper right now. So very strong. Again, the home health care is where it's at. And, you know, they have caregiver facts on their infographics that they hand out. And one of the things you'll hear Dennis and I talk about when we get into our sales side of it is you don't have to sell the Rolls Royce or the Cadillac plan to everybody. You don't have, they have the ability to be very robust, but you don't have to do that. So we talk about the fact that you need to know the average cost in your area, or at least nationally, but it doesn't have to be a huge part of your sales deal because of the fact you're going to tell people you're going to have other income and other ways to pay for part of this. My main goal is to make sure I'm covering your back, letting you put your head on a pillow tonight and have peace of mind, knowing that we've got a good chunk of it covered and we can help you out at claim time. And again, you don't have to cover every dollar of it. You can cover just some of it and do a great job for your clients. Dennis, I don't know.
Tom, yeah, no, I was just going to say, and that's right, you know, because again, you know, the importance is to help your clients to plan ahead and to start early so that most of that caregiving facts is because people have had to react to a circumstance where someone's health has changed. And so those are great stats. And Tom, one of the things, you know, that study that was done some years ago about the MetLife Juggling Act study, when we saw that statistic about depression, they also had a stat that showed that in many cases, the caregivers are dying before those they care for because they become so emotionally involved that they're surgically attached at the hip to that individual, and out of love, they're giving of their time and they put everything else on hold. But this T-Care is really why, one of the reasons why. And that video, you're going to see an exact reason of how T-Care got started. So we may want to show this T-Care, and Tom, if there is time, we want to come back and show just that Recover Cash. It's about 2 minutes, but hang tight for those of you that are on listening, because at the very end, we're going to talk to you about this new enhancement that just came out yesterday on another GTL product, and you're going to want to hear it. So we're really about 6-7 minutes away from sharing that with you. So
okay. Do you want to go to the video now for T-Care, or do you want to, or should I wait then? What do you think?
Well, let's do this, Tom. Why don't we, these are just some of the facts on T-Care. Maybe if we just, we talked about the 3,500, there's an assessment. Maybe if you go to that next visual that talks about that assessment, and yeah, why don't we just maybe get through just a couple more things on the materials and then show, maybe we can show both videos and then talk about that new enhancement, which is really a game changer in the care space here.
Okay. Yeah, and again, T-Care is really a cool service. It's really smart. They're going over and above, and it's something that's very unique with GTL. And with this T-Care, it's available with all their plans. And with this plan now, you're going to see that, like Dennis said, there's a lot of problems with caregivers having a lot of issues and not knowing where to turn. It's one of the biggest parts you'll hear in our sales talks when we talk about any type of extended care product. One of the biggest intangibles that everybody forgets about, especially agents, new agents, is it's a scary time for your family when somebody in your family, mom or dad or your sister or somebody, needs to start getting care. Everybody's in panic mode, right? They're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Who do I go? Should I Google something? Do I find care here? Do I find care there? One of the things that T-Care does a good job of, and that any of these policies do a good job of, is just that care coordination side of it, where you got somebody to turn to. If you didn't have a policy, you wouldn't know where to go. And that's one of the great things with all these plans. But Recover Cash went a step further with the T-Care. GTL says, you know what, we're going to help you from start to finish. As soon as you buy a policy, you have access to some of the support service T-Care. But this little side talks about, once you get a loved one who wants to get that $3,500, once you're ready for care and you're starting your claim, your loved one registers and you do the family caregiver assessment, and then they identify what kind of caregiver needs you'll have, and then they tailor the care plan for you like they always would. And at that point, then they can give that step 5 there, where they can give $3,500 right up front to be able to help that family caregiver with out-of-pocket expenses they might have by taking time off work or travel, etc. And then they keep talking about the information referrals and easy access to the tools, et cetera. And then they have ongoing follow-ups as well. So it's a very nice, strong service. And again, the video will go into a little more detail on that with that. Should we jump there now, Dee?
Yeah, I think we should. And we already talked a little bit about those infographics and materials. And, and keep in mind, again, when Tom was going through the rates, that's why selling some coverage is better than trying to give someone the Rolls Royce or the Cadillac and they just say, hey, I can't afford that. And, we talk about this all the time in the sales side about not leading too soon, making sure, because they realize that there is these other resources and family may have to step in. People can't always assume that they're going to have all the coverage just because of necessarily where their budget is. So this video that Tom is going to show is only a little under about 2.5 minutes in length, and you'll hear a great testimonial from the founder as well as how the program works. So here you go.
Can you hear that, Dennis?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Ali Ahmadi, CEO of T-Care. About 7 years ago, my wife and I became caregivers to my mother-in-law that was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma cancer. We became aware of this term known as family caregiving. As a former naval aviator, I was trained to navigate myself through extremely hard, difficult situations, and caregiving was one that I found myself lost in. T-Care was born as a solution to help family caregivers navigate all the challenges that they go through when they are taking care of a loved one. We are born out of an academic research project that through 7 years of 2 sets of clinical trials, over 15 years of longitudinal data, led to our algorithms understanding for families what solutions at what time, what place are the most effective to help them. My wife and I thought we needed respite or home care services in our caregiving journey. But when we went through the T-Care algorithms and the process, what the system identified was that we needed marriage counseling because our risk factor to burnout was a toll that caregiving was bringing on our marriage, and that's what had led us to start thinking about placing my mother-in-law into an institutional facility. And so the process of what T-Care works is we engage families, whether the policyholder and the family caregiver, the primary family caregiver, typically spouse, daughter, son. The process to use T-Care is extremely easy. It takes 90 seconds on a web portal or a platform to fill out a form, and through that, one of our social workers and our T-Care specialists connects with those families, and through a 25 to 35-minute consultation process, they help them navigate through all the resources that they need at any given point in time. To receive the T-Care Family Caregiver Support Services, it is extremely simple. We are either a phone call or a text message away for families. There's no claims process, there's no adjudication. Families can have access to the T-Care benefit starting day one of owning the policy. T-Care is here for you and your clients to empower you to bring a family support system so that families don't ever have to be challenged with the burden of caregiving. And they are spending more quality time with their loved ones.
All right. Dennis, go ahead. I'm going to go back to the regular share screen here.
Yeah. I mean, I've had the privilege of meeting Ali. He's just a very passionate individual, as we all are, about this topic, and that firsthand experiences was really the genesis of developing this company. And GTL is the first in the industry to actually have T-Care, and so this is very exciting. There is a Recover Cash video, and Tom, I don't know if we need to actually show that, but it's on the site. I know we want to show the site that we have available, and then we want to talk a little bit as we're showing the site. And you can see here the various ways that you can navigate through this website. It's just under integritystc.com.
Yeah, and Dennis here, I'll get us to Recover Cash, but real quick, I always do this because there's always new faces on here. And if you haven't seen this yet, the person who got you on the call should give you access, the marketer on call, one of our partners, but it's integrity.stc.com, like Dennis said. And you'll see as you scroll down, there's an instant pivot tool that does a great job of finding out which policies are available in your area or in your client's area, and even the underwriting questions, so you can quickly steer there. There's a full sales and marketing area that we'll get to, but otherwise, just on the Recover Cash, Omniflex, and Wellaby, these are the comprehensive plans. This is a policy we talked about today. And then we have our home healthcare only plans that are available as well. And those are Manhattan's and GTL's home care and True Freedom. We're going to talk a little bit about the enhancements on GTL's home care as we finish up today. But once you click on Recover Cash, the reason I don't think we have to show the video, Den, is that it's available right here. And as you go into the product area, you'll see this video and you can click on there. And then down below is all those different things that you can use for, they have a really nice consumer. There's those infographics we talked about, the brochure, and all these different things that you can use for agents and clients. So there's a lot of different things you can use. The quoting and the enrollment resources and frequently asked questions are there as well. So I won't go in and show you all those today for a matter of time, but it has a real quick bird's eye view of the plan description as well. So, Den, do you want to have me go back now to?
Yeah, I would go back, and let's just, yesterday, and this has been some time in the works, that menu as Tom's talking about, and he's going to show the home care menu. Today, on Wednesday, actually, we're doing a webinar. As Tom mentioned, this is the last week, so it's hard to believe we're getting close to the finish line. But the webinar on Wednesday will be an overview of both the Manhattan and the GTL product, but here's the state availability. And again, mid-30s as far as state availability, I think 34, 35 states on the home care side. Manhattan has a new product out called Select, and their legacy product is the previous version. And those states will eventually become Select states. And then, as Tom mentioned about True Freedom as well. So the home care, when you cast the net wide, and you'll hear this on Wednesday when we go through and talk about home care, the underwriting is a little wider than what, even though the short-term care, because we do have the facility coverage, so you have to prevent against, the catastrophic type of claim situations, and that's why there's a little bit more questions. The GTL short-term home care, like others, basically is a product that is, needed a little refreshing. And so, Tom, I don't know if we go through this, if we can hit on some of those points right there as you scroll down through the brochure, and maybe talk a little bit about some of the quick changes. And again, we're going to cover this on Wednesday, but we just thought since we were on it, we would take an opportunity, and we're not going to get too deep into it. We're just going to try to tell you high level, just a couple quick changes.
Yeah, real quick. Thanks, Den. And we have a video of this too that we could show, and I don't know if we'll have time for that, but it's up to you, Dennis, on that. But one of the things that this plan was set up, and you'll hear more about this when we get into the home care, because the other plan, like the Manhattan plan, is really close to this kind of same layout. And one of the ways they could throw the net so wide with these policies before was on the home health aid side of it. They had that broken apart as kind of a separate benefit that they limited to 60 days of care, where all the rest of these benefits up here are 360 days of care. So that's a huge difference, you guys. And that shows one of the biggest ways it shows that GTL is a great limber little company that says, hey, we got an A- rating, but we're still have the ability to go in there, listen to our agent force, and change these policies to really be much, much more beneficial to your clients at claim time. So I'm a big fan of what they did here, Dennis, and I think you will be as well. Home health aides are by far the number one used type of care in a home care situation. So it's so strong now, the way they built this, where they have a plan A that's $150 maximum benefit for any combination of these over here, this column. And plan B is the same thing, $300 for any combination of this middle column. And plan C is any combination of this far right column. So it's still indemnity benefits, but they kind of clarify it by, they call it a truly designed benefit plan, where if you get physical therapy on a given day, you'd get $75, $150, or $200 towards your maximum daily benefit over here. Does that make sense? So home health aides, which used to be broken apart and limited to 60 or 90 days with plans, now they have the ability to go all the way up to 360 days. And really, like I said, a nice enhancement to this, with plan A being $50 per time that a home health aide comes in, and $100 for plan B and $150 for plan C. So much stronger benefits than they were offered before. And obviously the biggest part for me is that 360-day availability as part of this base plan. So,
and Tom, more dollar amount, because that 50, 100, 150 is up from 40, 80, 120. And again, we're going to be back to more training. The other enhancement that came out previously was they moved up that plan C to a $900 reimbursement. And so one of the things to keep in mind, $10 generic, $25 for brand name, where you can choose, whichever plan. Plan B, by the way, is their most popular plan that they sell the most of. And we're not going to get into the whole rate and the whole training, but I do want to talk a little bit about, and I don't know if you want to use the term, layering, stacking, packaging, but there's opportunity to come in and basically be able to, oh, and by the way, yeah, that's an important add-on, Tom. You mentioned it earlier, but about on all their, it's not on all their products, but they've just recently added this also to be on the home care. So all the advantages that we had with the T-Care, with the Recover Cash, is now available in the short-term home care. But where I was going with this is the opportunity that you have where you may want to come in, and in some cases, remember how nimble that Recover Cash is. You could actually come in, and if you felt like you, for whatever premium sensitivity that you wanted to sell a more limited benefit plan that was just Recover, the Recover Cash with just facility only, then you could come back in and you could also then stack the additional short-term home health care. So you could actually use two GTL plans. And although we're talking about GTL today, it's not out of the question that we also see when individuals are looking for long-term care alternatives to come in and stack two short-term care plans, maybe one GTL and one Wallaby, or one GTL and one Manhattan, or a Manhattan and Wallaby, So there's all kinds of configurations. And again, we're not trying to get you confused today as being maybe new to this whole marketplace, but that's why you need to rely upon your marketers that invited you to this meeting, and also take advantage of the resource site that we've created that has everything at your fingertips to make it happen. But I think there's a great opportunity now to look for some combo opportunities with both the short-term home care and also the extended care Recover Cash plan together. And there is some limitations. We won't get into those, specifically. That's something that we'll put on the site, Tom. I believe that that will kind of give people the rules of the road on how you actually do that. But you may have a couple other points that you want to make on the site before we wrap it up. We're getting close to our time.
We're getting real close to it. And just a final thought, again, is I always make sure, if it's the first time you're here, check out that Integrity short-term care site. Click on the sales area, and if you go down here, you can see we have a lot of other videos available for you here. We're in the process of adding a bunch more videos, but we do have this access where you can go down, and I may as well click on here since I've got you. But we've got a full webinar site here that has all the different webinars, and we have a lot of fast facts. This was the Omniflex fast facts. Boy, they just added this. Wow. Very good. Corey's our website design.
She's almost as fast as GTL, Tom.
I know, it's kind of scary. That was on the Omniflex. If I go down here, there should be a video down here. These are all the different webinars that we've given for all of our different things, and the full webinar showcase will show all these webinars as well. But right now it looks like it's the Omniflex, and maybe if I scroll down more, it's like I said, she moves quick. So hopefully we'll have that link go over not just for Omniflex, but show all of the different webinars on here too, because some agents miss these little scroll downs. But either way, it's all here for you, even more now with the Omniflex fast facts that we have. So anything you need to be successful, check this out. Our consumer site, we have a bunch of different consumer materials you can get. And we have agents. If you're an agency and you want to go recruit, there's agents materials in here as well. So please check that out. And that said, I'm going to go over to here. And Dennis, you might have to fill for me, but I don't think so. If I go here and go to, nope, wrong one. Boom, there we go. There's different areas you can contact GTL directly or contact your marketer, and we're there to support your marketers. So whoever got you on this webinar, but they do a good job at GTL of helping you out as well. And the last slide that isn't on here, because this one is a presentation from the GTL group only, but the last slide I usually end with is contact the marketer who got you involved in this. That's the first step you need to make. Because it is up to you to take that step, get appointed with GTL and the other carriers. And again, we're here to support you as well. So Dennis and I look forward to seeing you on another webinar, and check that out from the same marketer who got you on this one. We're going to have some other webinars here, and I just showed you where the recorded webinars are. So that being said, I'll turn it to Dennis for the final close, but I do want to tell you, this is Tom Randall. I want to thank you so much for jumping on the webinar today. And Dennis, I'll turn you over for the close.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. You know, that GTL support, I've been on the road many times where I've called them, and they've got a great team. And I had an agent the other day when I happened to be driving that needed, she was in a state where they didn't have the e-app for Recover Cash, and she was trying to do a quote, and I couldn't help her because I was driving. And she was able to reach out to GTL sales support. They were able to run the quote for her and be able to email the quote to her that she needed. So, you know, take advantage of all of these different opportunities. But today, again, we're spotlighting GTL, and we thank you for your time. We know that you're busy as you are ramping up for AEP, but you know, don't be afraid to start that conversation. It's even if you're just teeing it up until you come back at the end of AEP, but you need to maybe now make sure that you're ready, you know, that you're preparing carefully for these opportunities. And your clients really do, as Tom said, they really do need to hear from you, and you need to be that resource. So this is Dennis Reiner, and joined by my good friend and longtime counterpart, Tom Randall, and we look forward to the next time we have a chance to share some additional information on this short-term care initiative.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
The next step is yours. Contact your marketer for more information and to start offering short-term care solutions to your clients. And be sure to sign up for our other short-term care hot topic webinars.